Let's dive into a really big question that's changing the way companies operate. Is data privacy actually the new sustainability? And trust me, it's a much bigger deal than you might think.
Think about it. It wasn't that long ago that going green was kind of niche, right? Something only certain companies cared about. But then, all of a sudden, there was this tipping point, and boom, it became absolutely essential for any business that wanted to be taken seriously. Well, guess what? That exact same seismic shift is happening all over again, right now. But this time, it's all about data privacy. It's going from a background hum to a front and center issue, and it's happening fast. So what does that actually mean for businesses? Well, it means data protection is no longer just some legal checkbox you tick off. It's not a problem you just toss over to the IT department anymore. It's becoming a whole new pillar of what it means to be an ethical business, right up there with things like corporate social responsibility and ESG. But you have to ask, why now? What's the big push that's moving privacy from the server room all the way up to the boardroom? Because this isn't happening in a vacuum. There are some really powerful forces at work here. It really boils down to three key drivers. First up, you've got the regulators. New laws are popping up everywhere that demand companies be totally transparent about how they handle data. Second, the ESG ratings agencies, the ones who tell investors who's a good company, they're now including privacy in their report cards. And third, it's us. It's the stakeholders, customers, investors, employees, we're all demanding better. The pressure is seriously coming from all sides. And this quote just nails the new mindset, doesn't it? The whole conversation has changed. It's not about what can we legally get away with anymore. It's about asking a much deeper, more ethical question: what is the right thing to do with people's data? So let's break down how privacy actually connects to these big ideas like ESG and corporate responsibility. It's not just a vague feeling. The connection is built on four really solid pillars. The first pillar is a huge one: trust. In today's digital world, trust is everything. It's your most valuable currency. And being open and honest about how you use data is one of the fastest ways to build it. If you mess that up, you're not just risking a fine, you're risking the entire foundation of your brand. Second is innovation. And this is where we see a link that a lot of people miss. It turns out that good privacy habits, like only collecting the data you absolutely need, that's called data minimization, can actually help the environment. Think about it. Less data to store, less data to process. That means less energy used and a smaller digital carbon footprint. Pretty cool, right? The third pillar is materiality, which is really just a fancy business word for what actually matters to the bottom line. And now, investors and company boards are demanding to see privacy reports right alongside the carbon emissions data. It's become a real, tangible metric for judging a company's health and future success. And the fourth pillar connects directly to the S and the G in ESG, the social and governance parts. Strong data privacy helps protect vulnerable groups from being exploited, and good data governance forces leadership to be more accountable and transparent. It's a win-win. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why. Now let's get practical. What does this actually look like day to day? How are the really forward-thinking companies putting this stuff into action? Well, the leaders are taking 5 really clear steps. First, they make privacy a real performance metric for executives. Second, they map out where all their data goes, looking for ways to reduce their digital footprint. Third, they talk openly with everyone about how they use data. Fourth, they actually track and report on privacy metrics, just like they would with sales. And finally, they connect the dots in their messaging, making it clear that protecting customer data is part of their commitment to sustainability. So as we start to wrap this up, it's just so clear that this isn't some passing fad. We're talking about a deep, fundamental shift in how business is done. The future truly is privacy first. This slide really tells the whole story in one shot. Yesterday, privacy was an afterthought, a tech problem, guided by what the law would let you get away with. But tomorrow, and tomorrow is already here for many, it's a core measure of success, a boardroom strategy, all driven by a simple question: what is right? What this all boils down to is your social license to operate. Basically, society's permission for your company to even exist. And more, that permission is going to depend on how well you respect people's data. It's becoming just as fundamental as your impact on the planet. And that leaves us all with one final, pretty critical question to think about. Looking at this massive shift from just compliance to a real conscience, from an afterthought to an absolute imperative, is your organization really, truly ready for the privacy-first era?